you, Case, for inviting me here for presenting this presentation with you. I'm Roberto, and I got in touch with the concept of a resource-based economy about 2 years ago, and I couldn't get it out of my head anymore since then. What I did a year ago, I started Civilization Alpha as a group of people that basically are focusing on the 0.1 step. So the first step to actually achieve that. And we had some meetups, and I got in touch with very interesting people, and we really started focusing on actually making it happen. And we quickly realized that actually just sharing the news was not enough, because most of the time what people asked was like, okay, but what can I do? What can I help? Just now learn about it, tell other people about it, but I really wanted something. So hopefully I can convince you that we are on the right path. One of the first things that we started to investigate is like, okay, what is actually happening in the world? I mean, we have a great civilization, a civilization that can achieve great things in medicine, science, and technology. But at the same time, it seems that something is not really working well. There is, people are getting poor. We say we're destroying the planet. And so we say, okay, let's focus on what's actually happening. Who is destroying the planet? Is it the monetary system? Is it government? Is it multinational? So let's talk about maybe Pedro, the guy that is in the middle of the jungle cutting down a tree. Why is he destroying the planet? Is it actually a main guy that really hates the planet, or is just trying to provide for his family? You see, what he is trying to get here, and he's happy that he's cutting down a tree because some of his friends don't even have a job. He's trying to provide for his family, and he wants, and there is not really a way to make him stop doing that, because it's like, well, what am I going to do otherwise? So, well, the problem is that he is trying to get the money, and the money is to get what he wants. So is it that in the future we will have, if we survive this thing, we will have in a museum like a pedestal with a dollar bill on top of it, with under a tag that says, well, that's the strongest weapon of mass destruction. Of course, that can't be it, because if you think about it, money is just a piece of paper. How can that be the strongest weapon of mass destruction? It's not money itself that is the weapon. It's something that was not really designed for. Money is designed as a tokenization item, but then there is something else around it that it's basically making it go wrong somewhere. So what I'm trying to say here is that it's a design fault, not necessarily the money's fault. It's just a system that was, and there's some emergent behavior that was not planned for. Now, I want to link to the previous sentence that was said by Case, which is that we don't need to really change the system, because of course we can put regulations on top, like you cannot cut the trees. Maybe we can even put a death penalty for the people that don't cut the trees. But if money is what they're looking for, they will do that. What we did is not to change the system, but to change system. But if I tell you today, okay, let's stop using money, you say like, well, that's what's going to happen to us. We can't survive, we can't thrive without using money, because that's what the entire civilization is built upon. So instead of focusing on getting the people money, let's focus 1 second on what the people actually need. And this is what we did, and that's why we started to think about, producing housing or hydroponics system, fully integrated, so that people didn't have to basically use money to live and survive, and could focus on the higher needs. But in practice, that's not even solving it, because if you do that, you don't have everything that the civilization can give you. You just have barely enough to keep going without using money. So we added one layer to this pyramid, which is a layer that is now changing so many things nowadays, and it's something that allows the entire world to be connected at once, even if you're in the middle of the jungle. So if you would remove money and go, what would happen? Like, okay, we need to go back to some kind of a sharing economy, economy in which you are entering a circle of trust. And with that circle of trust, you can exchange goods. You can maybe, you do that, I do that for you. And because I know that I know you, your family, and you will do it back to me. But that is a very small circle of trust. With the internet now and the sharing economy, we have initiatives like Uber and Airbnb that are so much more enlarging the circle of trust. I can spend a week in a house of somebody on the other side of the world, and that somebody never met me. I can get a ride from somebody that is providing his time and his resource, a car, from Uber, with a complete stranger. I don't even have to tell him, I don't have to introduce myself, I don't have to tell him where I wanted to go. This is the sharing economy. The problem with the sharing economy so far is it's still rooted into the market economy. So basically, it's like, okay, I'm an Airbnb house, and I want to give you, I'm going to give you money to stay at your place. Then the other person uses the money to do something else. But if you think about it, sometimes you will use that same money to get another Airbnb. So you see, we are having a system, we get the token, the money, and then we reuse it on the other side. So what if we drop the money and we just give tokens, Airbnb tokens? And not only that, what if Airbnb is Airbnb token, Uber is Uber token that we can use to get rides again? But what we want to do is also combining all these efforts, because there are many, many efforts, and just link them, creating basically a market between each of these activities, a single market. And once everything is connected into one single system, we could actually say, well, I could get everything from a sharing economy without having to use money. I'm just creating value and getting somewhere and exchanging it for a value somewhere else. And this is the new project that we're having, and we call it the profit economy.
You got a website?
Yes, we just started this, so there are some information on it, but we submitted an European project, so hopefully we'll get some funding to just get there as fast as we can. Now, the Profit is a platform. It's based on the blockchain technology. Who heard about blockchain technology? Okay, good. The idea is like this. Imagine that these are computers, nodes in a network, a decentralized network, and each of these computers contains a copy of a database. So if you try to kill one computer, the other people will have that database. If you try to change something, everybody else would say that's not true. So what this technology creates is a very decentralized one network of truth. So everything that happens in a network is true, and it will be true across the entire network. That's very powerful, because that basically gives us the trust. We know that we're not going to make some mistakes, or somebody is going to change things. Maybe they say it's like that, and then it's not like that. That doesn't happen anymore with the blockchain technology. An extension of this, we built a network on top of this, a network of people, by validating the IDs, maybe with a state validation, so collaborating with the state, the DKD here in the Netherlands, right? How do you spell it? I don't know. But at this point, you will have people being connected with each other. And now, this is the main difference of profit economy, the one that we're trying to design. The main difference is we don't ask these people, okay, get to work, advertise yourself within this economy. What we ask the people is, what do you need? So this person over here, that person over there, would just log in into this application and say, well, oh yeah, I like this food. Oh, I like this transportation from A to B. Oh, I like to sleep in this castle one day. So now we have Pedro that was down cutting the trees, that he can just get this up and look and open up his phone, and basically he will have a location, and all the people around him will have said something that they need. So the system recognizes location, gathers these demands, and it sorts them together. And once you sort them by distance and amount. So at one single instance, you will have the demand count here, and you will know what the people around you need the most. So all of a sudden, instead of saying, well, I need to cut the tree because that's the only thing that gives me money, now you can do something that your neighbor needs, and it will give you credit and possibly even money, or a combination of the two. So I'm going to say the first one. It's, somebody needs this specific resource. Maybe you're in the desert, you need water, but I don't have water, I can't provide. I go to look at the second demand. It's an assets demand, and say, well, it's not something that is going to be consumed. Somebody needs a drill, but I don't have a drill, so I can't provide for that. The third one is some time. Hey, I have time on my hand. I can, and this demand is to teach somebody about something. Or it could be a combination of the two. So you need some resources, which is the ingredient, and some of your time because you're a good cook, and maybe you can provide for this. The thing is about now you have the choice. The person has the choice to choose what to provide to the neighbors. So let's say that he chose one of these. Let's say he chose the teaching, and then he gets a list of the users that are basically requiring the teaching. And based on the distance or on the reviewers, he can basically choose the demander can choose to use Pedro to fulfill that demand. In exchange, Pedro will get some credits because of how, depending on how high is the demand, possibly some money because you can sell your services as well. But you will also get a reputation, and then you can spend the reputation into other systems. And every time that you would do some other job, you would actually get more reputation and more reputation. And basically, this is going to be the CV, is your curriculum vitae of what you did for your surroundings. So even if you never did anything in a specific field, the person can look at your CV and see like, okay, well, I trust this person because he has been performing very good. He always got 5 stars. So now you even have a way to prove yourself as a digital identity, not just a number. Of course, I'm going to briefly touch this, but you can also, once you establish a connection, like, hey, I know that you can provide me this, and somebody is asking this service, and I know that I can transform I can collaborate with you to provide this service. You can actually create some kind of like cooperatives, digital cooperatives of distributed people that would basically solve specific demand. And when you see all this demand being forwarded, so like, in order to cook something for you, I'll need this and this and this specific ingredients, which is then forwarded to a factory or like a farm that delivers these kind of things to you. And what happens in this case is traceability. That means that every resource, you can really follow back and see how the resource was collected. Or basically, where does it come from? That means that in the case of Pedro, that was cutting down the tree, somebody can still cut down the tree, because we need food, right? But now the people on top, the people that need food, have the choice, a choice that will be remaining imprinted forever into your digital identity. You have the choice of choosing just food or just food, in which the price that went into that request for wood was split to cut wood and also to send some seed bomb. Because now you're paying for the seed bombs, and that shows up into your CV. You're using fully green products. So how can cutting down the trees be a green product? This is how it can be a green product. Cut 1, plant 10. So what we're actually doing is actually creating some kind of like template for companies and activities and people to use, so that whenever it makes sense to join forces, they can easily do it just by with a flip of a button. The idea is like, if many people who start to use this kind of service or system, slowly we could actually create an entirely new economy that is not based on exchange of money, but on the exchange of resources and basically time, which is a resource by itself. because of that, the final target of the profit economy is to actually have an entire overview. You can really connect all the way down to the resources. And in that moment, we will have the enumeration of who is using the resources and who is providing for that. And then regulations can be put in place to say, if you would like to join the system and use the system, you need to to do it this way, or we can't allow you to extract more than this much of wood from the forest. So, well, I'm sure that there are a lot of questions, but what we are doing now is like we are looking for volunteers on ITs, volunteers that would basically help us make this system a reality. And we need to especially thank the Venus Project and the Zeitgeist movement as an inspiration for this kind of project. Thank you.